So I want you all to take a very close look at this chart right here. Do you think the support level will break to the downside, or will we see a bounce towards the upside? I will give you guys a few seconds to think about it. Now also have a look at this resistance. Do you think this resistance will hold, or do you think this resistance will break? To be able to tell if a support or resistance is more likely to hold or break, we need to learn about two different types of moves. These two types of moves can help us understand how strong or how weak a support and resistance actually is. And the first move we have to learn about is what I call the descending move. The descending move into support is a move that looks like this. Let's say that we have a support level, the price comes down here, and we do get our first bounce of the support. The price once again reverses, and then we get the next bounce. But what we have to notice here, if you take a look at this high, you can see that the price then prints a lower high. The next time the price goes down and tests the support level, we get yet another bounce, but once again the price prints a lower high. This is why we are calling this move the descending move, because you can see we are printing consecutive lower highs. We can continue this with yet another bounce right here. If you see a move like this, you have a support level and you get the consecutive lower highs. This is actually a sign of weakness, that the support is getting weaker and weaker. And why is this the case? Well, you can think of it like this. For every bounce we see here in the market, the sellers are willing to step in earlier and earlier and sell at lower prices. Why would a seller or someone shorting the market want to sell this close to a support level? Well, in order to short or sell this close to a support, you need to have conviction that the support soon will break. Another reason why lower highs into support makes the support weaker is because let's actually take a look at this from a buyer's perspective. Let's say you are a buyer and you want to buy the support right here. If you are a buyer, you want it to be as easy as possible for the price to bounce. But when we have consecutive lower resistance levels like this, you can see that on the way up, we have many potential resistance levels, right? So as you can see, on the way up here, we have many potential resistance levels that the price needs to go through. And this can actually scare away potential buyers on the support level. So it makes sense why this support is weak, both from the buyer's perspective and from the seller's perspective. And as you can see, in this case, the support was indeed a weak one and we broke straight through. Another important thing to notice about lower highs into support is that it creates a pattern that looks like a triangle. You can see, right, this right here, it looks like a triangle pattern. And this triangle actually has a name. It's called the descending triangle. And this pattern is a bearish pattern, indicating that the price is more likely to break to the downside. Now guys, let's switch the attention and take a look at our resistance example. In this case, we have a resistance. You can see we have multiple touches here. But what is very important to notice is that the lows, now we're talking about lows, the lows leading into the resistance are getting lower and lower. And the exact same principles applies here, but the opposite. In the case when we have higher lows into resistance, this makes the resistance weaker. The buyers in this market has more and more conviction because they are willing to buy closer and closer to the support, indicating that they think that the resistance will break. And from the sellers or the bear's perspective trying to short this market, you will notice that they will have lots and lots of support to go through for the price to go down. This can make sellers and people looking to go short hesitant to actually do that at this resistance. And as you can see guys, in this example, the resistance was indeed weak and we saw an explosive breakout. Later on in this video, I will teach you guys a relatively simple but very powerful trading strategy that you can use trading the descending move into resistance. But before we do that, you have to learn about the second type of move you need to understand. The momentum move. So what is a momentum move into support? Well, once again, let's imagine we have our support area right here and we have the price going down. We found support one time, we have the price going down, we found support once again. A momentum move into support is basically when we have a very strong move into the support. What you want to look out for here before the support is that you want to see many strong red candles, and preferably we want these candles to actually be as long as possible. So let's say we have a move that looks something like this. This is a bit counterintuitive, but this right here actually makes the support more likely to hold. And let me explain why. The people that are short this market and is betting against the market, when we see a move like this, the short sellers will be in a winning trade, right? So they are in a winning trade and are looking for a place to sell. And let's think here, where are the short sellers looking to sell their position? Well, many times they are looking to exit their short position either at or close the support level. And especially if the price starts to bounce here, then many people that are in this trade will try to protect their profits. So if we start to bounce right here, the short sellers that are taking profits because the price is bouncing or because they hit their target will actually lead to more buying pressure. And another pretty obvious source of buying pressure is of course the buyers that are looking to buy at the support level. It's very common for buyers to buy either at or near a clear support level in the market. Last but not least, another force that makes this support strong is, as you can see, if we start to bounce here and we look a bit to the left, you can see that unlike the previous example, we don't really have any clear resistance until all the way up here. So you can see that we have a pretty open area here where we don't really have a lot of resistance. This means that when the price starts to bounce here, we can actually start bouncing fast towards the upside. Let's take a look at a real life example right here. As you can see on this gold chart, we're looking at a daily time frame for the gold price. You can see that we had support coming in back here. This was back in March 2021. We saw yet another clear support touch coming in here in April. And as you can see, it took quite some time. But here in August, we saw a strong power move towards the support level. And as we recently talked about, a momentum move into support makes the support area more likely to be a strong one, and in this case you can see that the price immediately reacted to the support area. Many people being short this market probably took profits, and we also got increased buying pressure from the buyers looking to buy at the support, and this led to a very strong bounce towards the upside. If we just look a little bit to the left here on the gold price, we can see the opposite example. Let's take a look at the resistance right here. You can see we had a pretty clear resistance, at least 1 and 2 touches. We saw a power move right here into the resistance, and this led to a strong reaction in the opposite direction. So now when we have learned about both the descending move and the momentum move, we're ready to take a look at a simple but powerful trading strategy. And let's return to the example we used here earlier in the video. And as you guys can see, in this case, we got a breakout. You can see we got a breakout during this candle right here. But one thing about this candle is that yes, the candle closed above the resistance, so that is a good thing. But in order for this to be a real breakout, we need either a strong candle close above, so we want the candle to close far above the resistance, or we want to wait for yet another candle. This right here is what we call a confirmation candle, and this one confirms that we have a breakout. We are ready to enter our long position, and we enter at the candle close of this confirmation candle. For this strategy, we want to set our stop loss below the lowest point of the last low before the breakout. So as you can see, this right here was the last low before we saw the breakout. So we set the support just slightly below this point. As for your profit target, you can do this in multiple ways. One simple way to set a profit target is to use a risk to reward ratio of 2. And that basically means that the reward, or this green part right here, is 2 times as large as the red part. But to make your trades even better, it's important to look at the previous market structure. And in this case, you can see that we did have a resistance area. You can see we did have some resistance for the gold price right here. This one was the one we talked about earlier. We had one touch as resistance and then yet another touch. So we can actually use this to adjust our trade a little bit here based on the market structure. So because we have a resistance right here, it does make sense to set your profit target a bit lower, because when we reach a clear resistance, it's very possible that we will see selling pressure coming in. So just to adjust for this market structure here, in my opinion, it makes sense to have the profit target a little bit lower. So now we have our entry, our stop loss, and our profit target, so we are ready to take this trade. And as you can see, in this case, we reached our profit target relatively quickly. The price started to see some resistance coming in at this level, but we don't have to worry because our profit target is already met. So in this video, we didn't have a lot of time to talk about the trading strategies. So now, if you're interested in learning about one of my absolute favorite trading strategies in a step-by-step manner, I highly recommend all of you to watch this video next. Happy learning and stay profitable.